Hey, good morning, everybody. Here to talk to you about the flows this weekend and more specifically, this atmospheric river. This photo from a satellite was taken 2 days ago, and you can just see how big this storm is. Um, and now it's encroaching on the northern California region. Another good image from the meteorological Twitter stream is right here. We can see just how dense the precipit's going to be here, and the record air mass um, from this Oakland reading, which is already off the charts at 1.6 inches of precipitable water. All this means that the kayaking this weekend is going to be fantastic and very dangerous for everyone who chooses to boat. So if you're a new boater or a club boater, or someone who has a bunch of GoPros and is working on building your social media profile, this is a horrible weekend to build content and make yourself look cool if you don't have the skills to be out there. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the flow forecasts from the California and Nevada River Forecast Center. So I'm just going to be going through a few of these pages here for the NorCal region, and just starting with what I think is viable, and then just talking about some other cool points as well. Here we go, North Fork American River at the North Fork Dam. Things are just getting started, right? But by tomorrow, around 11 a.m. in this drainage anyway, things are going to peak. And what's really happening this storm is you have two things: warm rain on snow. And so it's going to drop hot on that snow up to 10,000 feet in elevation. Everything in the mid elevations is going to start to melt. Get this big double whammy. And that's why you see these flows that really spike shortly after the event, not right at the beginning of the event, right? So Friday night, the rain's starting now, but not until Friday night is it really going to start melting that snow, and then everything just kind of unleashes like a tidal wave. And you see these flows go from, 1,500 to close to 25,000, in this case 23,900 or 23,095 CFS on North Fork American River. So Chamberlain's not a good idea unless you're like Johnny Chase and Carson and his crew, and but us mere mortals, like, stay off the river. Another look here at the Middle Fork American, Forest Hill, forecasted to go to 23,000. I think the main fork of the American below the confluence would be a good run Saturday for like solid class 4 big water boaters. It's going to be big in there. The happy wave or gay wave, whatever you like to call it, it's going to be washed out, but should drop in probably Sunday afternoon, because you can see flows are going to drop almost as quickly as they rise in all drainages. Looking at Kybers going further south in the American drainage, we can see a peak at 11 a.m. tomorrow at 16,000 CFS. What's that mean? It means today would be a good day to get Kybers after work if you can, before it gets too high. I think it's good at 1,000 level, and then it's probably going to be out for most of the weekend unless you want to get on it pretty high. Definitely consider it class 5 or 5 plus in these big ranges, and stay out of Golden Gate unless you want to break some records, I guess. So that's the American River Basin. South Fork at Placerville, looking at a peak of 25,515 CFS tomorrow at 2 p.m. South Fork is going to be really fun and cool tomorrow, but I think there's this misconception that, like, hey, I learned to kayak on the South Fork at 1,200 CFS. It's super easy. It's going to be class 5 or class 2, 3 at 25,000 CFS. That is not the case. If you swim in there at this level, in the chili bar section of the gorge, you could absolutely flush drown. Like, and plan on losing all your gear. Like it's just gonna go, and there's gonna be like old growth wood and all sorts of stuff floating in the river. Like just think moving strainers. So again, if you're kind of the person who's like been on the North Fork of the Payette or paddled big water in Idaho or say South Africa, you're gonna have a good time on Saturday tomorrow. If this is your first time on the South Fork at 25,000 and you've never paddled it over 5,000, horrible day to go kayaking. Stay home. So that's just my perspective. And if you're in a crew or trying to build a crew with like shabby boaters, just don't put on. So if anything, I'm encouraging people not to go kayaking tomorrow. And if you are going kayaking, be ready to lose all your gear, and know the risk if you swim. You do not want to be out of your boat tomorrow, whatever river you're on. And in your boat doesn't mean you still can't die. So just being really upfront about how dangerous it's going to get out here on these flooding rivers, even on the South Fork. Moving to the North Fork, Yuba at Jones Bar, it's going to get up to 15,000. Not going to talk too much detail there. Below our house dam's going to come in, but in my opinion, still be pretty high. It'd be good, starting to come in good on Sunday, Monday. And you can see it's like it's going to spill and then shoot right up. North Fork, Yuba, Goodyear's Bar, 12,000 CFS, also high flow. North Feather, ooh, gosh, it'd be very spicy in there, slightly less than 10 grand. Moving further south of the Consumnos and American River, we got the Merced at 6,500. So you can see as we move south, the heart of this is kind of the southern tip of where this storm is hitting. And we're not seeing this is still a very high flow, don't get me wrong. But the Merced at 6 grand is much more doable than Chamberlain's at 25. So again, it's all dangerous, but it's relative levels of dangerous. I would call this like more doable class 5, whereas in contrast to Chamberlain's at 25 grand, that's like class 5 plus flush drowning level for sure. Doesn't mean things can't go wrong on any of these rivers. Arrow Hondo San Jose, something that I've always been interested in, and Gavin's always wanted to go run. It's going to come in, but I'm going to go run the South Fork, I think, or something easier. Maybe the main American below the confluence. San Lorenzo should come in. It's dirty, but it'll be in. So if you're in the Santa Cruz area or Bay Area and want to paddle in the Santa Cruz Mountains, this is your chance. So that's all I got for the flow forecast. Keep in mind, Dreamflows is great for real-time flow information, but I think these flow forecasts are much better for making predictions and plans for tomorrow and Sunday. So stay safe out there if you do decide to boat, and just again be ready to lose all your gear and potentially die if you're putting on a river at record levels and you don't have big water experience, or even if you do have big water experience, the risks are just so much higher at these high volumes. It's not like skiing in bounds where they have an avalanche crew go and blast all the slopes so that they can't die in an avalanche. It's like you're paddling in an avalanche. So just be super careful out there, everyone. Hope you have a good weekend paddling. All right, bye.